friends, today it's time to do a book haul. So as you might know if you watch my Balancing the Books videos, I am currently on a book buying ban, but that is only for books that I haven't read yet. So everything that, then goes on to my TBR. And so I have, even if it's not that much compared to other book hauls I have done and the frequency in which I've done them, I still have a couple of books that I want to haul today, especially as you also might know I will be moving soon and I will only take like a really, really small amount of books with me. And so I just really wanted to make sure that I haul these books before I leave. These are all from Medimobs except two. I have two pre-orders and everything else is from Medimobs. Let's head into it. So first off, I have Blanca&roja by Anna Marie Mclemore. This is the one book that I broke my book buying ban for, but I have already read it since I bought it. So that is kind of why I made this exception to my book buying ban, because I knew that I wanted to read it in August for the Melanie themed TBR, and I did end up reading it in August for exactly that. And I really, really enjoyed it. I'm so glad that I got this because I said this in my wrap up as well. This book is just so Melanie, so I feel like this is just a book where I just like read this really essential part of like Melanie's reading taste and stuff like that. And I also said this in my wrap up, her reviews for this book is one of my favorites. And so I'm just really, really glad that I decided to break my book buying ban for this because it was more than worth it. And I, again, just really, really loved it. And it is also super gorgeous. Then I got a physical copy of Summerbird Blue by Akemi Dawn Bowman. This is a book that I read last year and really, really loved. I would say it was probably like my number 11 favorite book of the year. It didn't quite make it into my top 10, but I truly love this book, and it is, oh my god, criminally underrated. It is a really beautiful YA contemporary that deals with grief. It has an aspect of music in there and like writing your own music. And the main character is kind of, questioning her sexuality, definitely somewhere on the A spectrum. She never quite like says that she's aro ace, but it definitely very much goes into that direction. So it's great for that wrap as well. I just really love this. I always love when books kind of combine grief with like music, and this is just one of the books that did it the best that I've read in the past couple of years. I have a Goodreads review and a full video review for this, so I'm going to leave links to that in the description and for the video in the info card as well. I think it's up there. But yeah, I just think that this is such a wonderful book, and I'm just so glad that I own a physical copy of it because it's also really gorgeous. I also absolutely love this like blue color underneath. It's such a strong color, and yeah, again, I just think it's gorgeous both in and out, and I'm so glad I own it. Then I was able to snatch two Shadowhunter related books on Medimobs that I've been eyeing for so long anyway, and it was always like either I thought that for a used copy they were like too expensive, or I was scared that it was gonna be the wrong edition because I've been fucked over with one of them. Not even through like a used store, just through regular old Amazon. So I was always kind of like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna get it. But then when both of them were available at the same time, I was like, this is a sign. And so I just bought them. And the first one is The Bane Chronicles by Cassandra, Clare, and Sarah Reese Brennan and Maureen Johnson. This is one of the short story collections in the Shadowhunter universe, and I have already read this. I buddy read this with Melanie sometime last year and really enjoyed it much more than I thought. And I'm so glad that Melanie read it, because otherwise I would not have touched this book. I kind of thought like it's not necessary, and now I'm so glad, like even just with like Red Scroll of Magic, but so many things. I'm just so glad that I read these stories, because I do think that is kind of important to have read these, and I'm just really happy that I own a physical copy. And this is the one where I got fucked over. I actually bought this years ago. I want to say when this came out, because I remember the phase when these short stories were published individually. So I want to say I wanted to buy this. A couple of the stories were released in 2013, and then a couple of them in 2014, and this book came out 2014, if I get this right. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I bought this when this initially came out, when this bind up initially came out, but it ended up being a library binding, and I didn't want that, so I sent it back, and then just kind of, I don't know, forgot about it and heard not great things about it, so I never really reconsidered, buying it and reading it, but I did, and I loved it, and that's why I got myself a physical copy. And I was scared to buy this because I was like, what if it's a library binding again? but it wasn't. And then the other one I have is Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy by Cassandra, Clare, Sarah Reese, Brendan, Maureen Johnson, and Robin Wasserman. This is another of the short story collections, and this is I guess the Ghost of the Shadow Markers is now my favorite, but there are definitely some really, really strong stories in here that I truly, truly love. Like, Bane Chronicles is a lot of fun, and there's definitely stories in there that I truly love, but like this one I think is a really strong collection of short stories as well, and there's definitely some super, super intense stories in there that I love with all of my heart. And so again, I'm just really glad that I own a physical copy of this, and this completes my Shadowhunter collection. I mean, I don't own like the Shadowhunter Codex and stuff like that, but as far as like stories go, I think I have everything now. So that just makes me incredibly happy, and again, I'm just glad that it's like the right edition that fits with all of the rest of my books as well. Then I have another really exciting purchase where I was also not sure if it was gonna be the right edition and the edition that I wanted, and I already own an edition of this series, and so I just knew that if I made this purchase, it had to be the edition that I really, really wanted, that I kind of wanted to have on my shelf. If it had been a library binding, if it had been different covers, if the set wouldn't match, I knew I would have sent it back because I already own a set. But I really, really wanted to have this original set because I truly love this trilogy, and I really love these covers. And these covers, okay, I'm just gonna show it to you. I bought the original hardcovers of the His Fair Assassin trilogy. The first one is Grave Mercy, then we have Dark Triumph, and finally Mortal Heart. And these covers, to me, I think this is maybe my favorite because girl with a bow on the cover. I think the first one came out 2012, I want to say. And these covers just kind of scream YA fantasy of that time. Like, these covers are just so... they just look so much like books, like YA fantasy books that were published exactly during that time. And that just makes me really happy. And I remember the cover of Grave Mercy is even what made me initially excited about wanting to pick up this series. Like, the cover is what drove me to wanting to read this series, and then took me a little while to actually get there. But now I've read them all and I loved them all, and I just could not resist. Again, I own the kind of new covers. They re-released them in paperbacks because there's now 2 more books in the series, and I definitely wanted those new editions because they're really beautiful, but also because I love the series and I wanted to support this series. But I've always kind of been eyeing these like original editions, and the first one is no longer available new, at least not on Amazon, but the other 2 are still available for like 16 or 17 euro. And I was like, do I get them? And I was like, no, you can't pay that much for books you've already read that, you know, you already have a set of as well. And so I kind of been like waiting for my chance to get them used on Medimobs, and it happened, and I'm so happy, especially the fact that I got to buy them like all 3 together, because like sometimes one of them would be available and then I'd be like, yeah, but what if I buy one now and then I can't get the rest, because that definitely sucks as well, and I hate not having a complete set of a series. So the fact that I could buy them all together, they are in amazing condition. I am so very happy. Again, I just absolutely love this series. And then I have my 2 pre-orders, one from August and one that just came out. And the August pre-order is Sea Witch Rising by Sarah Henning. This is the sequel to Sea Witch, which is one of my favorite books of last year. And obviously I wish I had already read this, but obviously I'm also not really reading much at the moment, so it hasn't happened yet. But I am super excited for it, and it does have like a super high priority on my TBR, right behind all of the arcs that I still need to read. And I am just so excited. I cannot wait for this. I don't know, it's a little bit scary because Sea Witch really stands well on its own, and I am super excited to have more books in this world, but I'm also like, I just don't really know if I am gonna love this one as much. Like Sea Witch could have been like a one-time thing. Like you just never you never even know that with like actual like series that really have like one storyline. But especially when it's more like companion-y and there's like a new main character, you just never really know what's gonna happen. So I am definitely a little bit like scared and intimidated, like nervous. Let's say nervous. I'm definitely a little bit nervous, but I'm also super excited. And another gorgeous cover. I love the cover of Sea Witch so much as well, but this is maybe even more beautiful. So hopefully I will read this soon, and hopefully I will love it as much, if not even more, than Sea Witch. That would obviously be amazing, but yeah, I just cannot wait. And then the other one I have, obviously, is Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab. This is the sequel to City of Ghosts and Victoria Schwab's newest middle grade release. I really enjoyed City of Ghosts, and I'm just super excited to dive into this one. Maybe by the time this haul goes up, I will have already read it. I'm definitely trying to read this before I move so that I can, you know, leave this copy here. I am also getting the UK copy of Tunnel of Bones, but I don't really know when that will arrive, and so I just, you know, decided to film this haul because, again, like, obviously moving is stressful, so I'm pre-filming just a couple of videos so that I don't have to worry about that. So I don't really know when that will arrive, but I guess it's just gonna be in my next book haul or in the book haul when I come back and whatever books have accumulated here. I don't really know, but I'm just really happy that I own this, and it arrived super quickly, which was a surprise. I love that it has a skull on it. Can you see that? Oh, I think that's kind of really hard to tell, but it has like a little skull imprinted here, which is my favorite thing because I'm obsessed with skulls. So that made me very happy. And yeah, I'm just super excited to read this, and I'm pretty sure that I will really enjoy this. Probably not a 5-star read for me, but I would assume at least 4 stars. And yeah, that is everything for my book haul today. Let me know if you've also read any of them, if you've already read the 2 things that I have pre-ordered, and if you enjoyed them or not. And yeah, I make new videos every Wednesday and Sunday with occasional reviews on Friday. So click subscribe to never miss anything and hit the little bell so you get notified as well. And thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!